Did you have any comments on the money laundering?
Yes, I do. You know, there's a chapter here in Terrorism and Tyranny on the money laundering cases. And to see how the feds, the first person convicted under the Patriot Act, the Patriot Act had a provision which said that if you're running a money forwarding service and you don't have a state license, then that's a federal felony. You know, and they used this to go after a lot of Somalis and Somali Americans who were transferring money back home. And they went in, did these raids, they confiscated people's life savings, they greatly disrupted the transfer of money from Somali expatriates to their relatives back home. There were probably some people that died because of that. And there were a lot of innocent people who got smeared. And the first person to be convicted on the Patriot Act was a Somali guy who had been investigated by the FBI the previous year to see whether there was any terrorist connection to his money forwarding service. FBI found nothing. They had no evidence on the guy, except that he had started to fill out the paperwork to get this state license, and he had not finished it. And that's how they nailed him. And it was a fascinating scene in the federal court because the federal judge who handed down the sentence, he was outraged because a federal prosecutor came in there and wanted a very harsh sentence for this guy, far harsher than what the sentencing guidelines called for, and because the prosecutor portrayed the guy as a terrorist financier. And the judge was furious. He said, you know, there's no evidence of this. I mean, this is outrageous what you've done to this guy. So,
What was the sentence?
the sentence, I think it was, it's in here, maybe 32 months or somewhere like that. But the prosecutor wanted a much larger, much longer sentence. But there's a really wonderful quote from the judge, which I don't recall right now. But it's in chapter 5.
David?